Now Kodak, through photography, brings you this edition of the Screen News Digest. Now Kodak, through photography, brings you this edition of the Screen News Digest. Now Kodak, through photography, brings you this edition of the Screen News Digest. Now Kodak, through photography, brings you this edition of the Screen News Digest. Now Kodak, through photography, brings you this edition of the Screen News Digest. Now Kodak, through photography, brings you this edition of the Screen News Digest. Now Kodak, through photography, brings you this edition of the Screen News Digest. Now Kodak, through photography, brings you this edition of the Screen News Digest. Now Kodak, through photography, brings you this edition of the Screen News Digest.
Hi everybody, this is Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we're outside today because my laptop decided to charge. So that's all it took. And it was also nice outside and nobody is doing lawn work. So yeah, take advantage of it. And leaves are literally falling onto my laptop as we speak. So there you go. Today is October 31st. It is the end of our favorite month of the year. It is our favorite month for a couple of reasons. one, it's my birthday at the beginning of the month. Then it is World Heritage Audiovisual Day. It is also Home Movie Day. It is also the weather starts changing in a wonderful way. And it's also my anniversary. My wedding anniversary is during that time, and on the 22nd. And finally, it is Halloween. And I put together an entire show this morning and realized, oh yeah, it's Halloween. So I had to redo it, which is fine. It happens. So that last film we saw was a home movie that a collector gave to me, and he might know who the people are in that film, but it's obvious that someone had just seen maybe Pink Flamingos or Desperate Living. Not Desperate Living, Pink Flamingos or Female Trouble or some other film featuring Divine, and had an amazing costume, and then looks like they got really drunk. And I clipped out, there is some penis footage that shows up in that film that I clipped out. So sorry, but not sorry really. Because the person, I don't think, intentionally wanted their privates to be shown, because they were drunk. Ghosts? No ghosts.
It's a ghost, the ghost of a house that once was new. But it hasn't always been like this. Once upon a time, when the house was new, happy people lived here, and the owner was proud of his house. Not a worry in the world. This man's house was his castle. But a year or two passed, and then the trouble began. Just little things at first, a drawer that wouldn't close, a window that wouldn't open, and then greater faults, things that took time and money. The owner could never permanently cure his house of these ailments. They grew more as time went on. Finally, he gave up. He realized the trouble was far below the surface, in the foundation under the house. Today, every man's automobile is his house on wheels, giving him a roof over his head, keeping him warm in winter, cool in summer, besides moving him about wherever he wants to go. But there are haunted cars, just as there are haunted houses. One shock from an earthquake and a house falls to pieces. But your house on wheels must be built to withstand an earthquake every second or oftener when it's that kind of a road, rolling and bumping, twisting and turning. If a car does not have a good foundation, it soon becomes the haunt of ghosts. Body joints loosen up, bringing squeaks and rattles. Even the tires get more wear because the car weaves and won't hold the road. A car must have a strong foundation, and in an automobile, the foundation is the frame. Few people see the real foundations of their houses, and few owners see the frames of their automobiles. And there are many important engineering developments in the modern automobile frame, which aren't apparent when you look at the car. Let's see what an automobile frame has to do, and what kind of a frame is required to do the job. This line is the road. These are the wheels, and this is the body. Now let's look at it from another viewpoint, looking down on top of the car. The car is supported at four corners by the wheels. We must have a strong, rigid foundation to support the body over its entire length. So let's take off the body and build a foundation, starting with these two pieces of steel, which we will call side members. Now we need something to keep the side members apart and something to hold them together. So we put in two more steel pieces, which we call cross members. But how are we going to turn those front wheels? They haven't enough room. Well, let's give them all the room they want. Let's make the frame narrower in front. That's better. How about the rear end of the frame? We've got one cross member, but that's not enough. It will give us a good, rigid support for the gas tank, but we need something stronger than that. Let's put in another one that makes the rear of the frame strong and rigid. And just to make sure that our foundation won't go together in the middle like this, let's put in another cross member right about here. Now we have a frame that you can't pull apart, that you can't push together. Pretty good job as far as we've gone. Hey there, that won't do. To prevent this sort of thing, let's put in some more steel girders like the letter Y. Now, any force applied here will be transferred to the center of the frame. But we don't want to be compelled to make this center crosspiece too heavy. So, to help spread the strain, let's put in these members, like the letter K. Of course, we have to consider the engine. We're going to support the front of the engine here. So we'll have to have another cross member here to support the rear of the engine. Now we've designed a skeleton frame, but before we ride on it, we'll have to do some figuring. And the first thing we want to know is what part of the frame is going to get the most severe strain, or as engineers would say, where is the point of maximum stress? This is a piece of steel supported at each end. We apply a weight at the center of this piece of steel. We let the steel bend up and down, and it doesn't break because the strain is equalized throughout its length. But suppose we fasten a steel box over half the length of the beam and again apply the weight. Up and down it bends, but this time it breaks because while this end was held rigid by the steel box above it, this point was doing most of the bending. Right here at the edge of the box was the point of greatest strain. As an engineer would say, the stress was localized. So it is with an automobile frame. The point of greatest strain is here at the front edge of the steel box or body of the car. And on the frame, that point is here. The usual way of building this part of the frame would be to use only one piece of steel. But in this frame, we're going to use two steel girders like this and tie them together with a heavy steel plate known as a gusset. This construction gives us rigid strength where we need it. Another point of great stress is here. So here again, we add a heavy steel plate to give us extra strength. When we ride on the frame we have designed, we'll find that there is another point of heavy strain, here in the hump, where we bent the side member up to get over the rear axle. So we'll give it a reinforcement too. Since we are going to have harmony between the front and rear springs, knee action, on the car we are building, let's make the front end of the car as rigid as possible. With knee action, we use this sturdy girder of steel to hold the wheels. It's time to add these brackets, called step hangers, which support the running boards. And now look out for the rivets. Here they come. "219 tough steel rivets to hold our frame together. Coal-driven rivets, too, that won't shrink after they're in place. Now, we have a strong, rigid foundation. With this YK frame, your car will stand up under the hardest usage for tens of thousands of miles. Strong, heavy side members for support. Sturdy cross members for rigidity. Big steel center braces for strength. Heavy reinforcements at points of greatest strain. A good husky support for the engine. And a strong crosspiece to hold the knee action wheels. Such a frame gives rigid support to the whole car. Springs, steering gear, and engine have a firm foundation. The body and every part of the car ride on a frame that is solid, strong, and safe. With such a foundation for your car, you can ride on good roads, or bad roads, or any kind of road. Your car has a foundation to protect all vital parts from damaging shocks and strains. Summers and winters may come and go, but such a house on wheels will never have to fear the creaks and rattles of a haunted house.
So creaky cars, that's what that film was about. And so that was a Jam Handy film, of course, made for GM, Chevrolet. And it's also, it was a short subject. So it was distributed to theaters. And because it's interesting and informational, but it's also just an ad for Chevrolet. And so they were distributed for free, and theaters were interested in free content. So there you go. All right, here's a film, Halloween Party. Let's see how kids had a party in the 50s. I should say for the record that I love footage of old Halloweens, and that's my favorite genre of home movies, is watching people dress up for Halloween, adults and kids, and also seeing the Halloween parades where there's just this parade of kids. So good, so good. All right, here's Halloween Party. Enjoy.
It is night. It is for Halloween makes noise. But there is a tap at the window. No one there. Again at the other window. But no one is there either. Surprise, surprise. It is Father with pumpkins, Indian corn, and straw. Everything we need for Halloween decoration. Julie wants to know what the straw is for. To cover the roses with and keep them warm during the winter. The whole family is getting ready to make the jack-o'-lantern. Peter has finished his cat mask, and Julie brings paper to keep the table clean. And now Father is back and we are all together. Uh-oh, what is Peter up to? He is trying to scare Shep with his cat mask. And Shep doesn't like to be teased. I'm sure Peter wouldn't like someone to tease him. Father has a pump out and is working on the face. Shep wants to know what this is all about. And in goes his nose. Hey, get away from here, says Father. A very sad, sorry, spooky-looking jack-o'-lantern. Sad.
Sorry. Spooky.
Now comes the best part. Everyone goes to turn out a light. Now, and Shep does not like the jack-o'-lantern with a lighted candle in it. Lights on. Everybody laughs at Shep. But now it is bedtime. Tomorrow is Halloween. But for Shep, the scary part of Halloween has already begun. All night he watches a sad, sorry, spooky jack-o'-lantern. The next day is a dull one for Shep. Mother has gone to school to bring Julie and Peter home for lunch, and Father is at work. And the jack-o'-lantern is not scary in the daytime. But there is Peter's cap. Pete Shep with that. And so Shep tears the scary mask apart. There's the outside door. Peter sees his mask, or what is left of it. And there's no time to make a new one, because the costume parade is right after lunch. But Mother is sure there is some way to get Peter a new costume. Now let's see. There's the needle and thread. Oh, Shep, you're such a bad dog. Now Peter won't have a chance to win the prize for the best costume. Mother tells Peter that she has an idea. Peter, get the rag bag. Julie, run upstairs and get my makeup box. Now the Mexican hat. Quickly now, only half an hour left. A long length of colored cloth. Gloves, and now... And last, the straw hat. A lady scarecrow. What a fine costume parade with Mother, Julie, and Shep watching. There's a witch, a cat, and a clown. Every different kind of costume. But Peter's lady scarecrow is the best. It is so funny and so different. The first prize for Peter is a box of balloons. And Peter calls all the other children to share his prize. Balloons for everyone. Everyone blows up a balloon. And then... Shep is happy that he helped Peter win. Peter is very happy. Yes, Halloween is fun.
Oh, Shep. Shep. Yes, big fan. Big fan of that beautiful Kodachrome. Kodachrome Halloweens are the best, as I said. This next film is a folk tale that somehow involves Halloween. Or I think it's a folk tale. It might be like a recent story. That recent being from the 50s, 60s, 70s. But it's Katura and the Cat. Enjoy.
Once, long ago, a girl named Katura lived with her great-grandmother in a little house on the forest's edge. The old woman had not long to live, and she worried about the child, for the two of them were all alone. One quiet night, the great-grandmother said,
Katura, when I die, you must travel to the distant side of the forest. There, on Halloween, a celebration will be held at the castle, and you will surely find someone you will love.
But winter is coming. I am afraid of the forest, so cold and so dark. And I think I shall never love anyone but you, great-grandmother.
My sweet child, I shall always be close to your heart, but most certainly you will love others.
Then she placed a fine gold chain about Katura's neck, from which hung the key to the little cottage.
When you leave this house, I want you to lock the door forever. But do not lose this simple key, for one day it will unlock something of great importance.
After a few days, the great-grandmother died peacefully. Then, just as Katura had been instructed, she locked the cottage forever and set out for the castle. Deep in the woods, dark spirits were gathering for Halloween. The most dreaded of all these spirits was the forest witch.
I shall soon put an end to this pretty one.
When she saw Katura alone, she disguised herself as a frail old woman.
Oh, my child, are you all alone in these woods? Allow me to lead you through the forest.
Feeling so terribly alone, Katura obeyed. Then the witch caused the north wind to blow and snow to fall, so that soon, frozen with fear and cold, Katura fainted and fell to the ground. Suddenly then, from out of the deep woods, crept a cat as black as night. Gently it brushed its tail against Katura's pale cheek and brought her rosy color back. And it curled up on Katura's chilled heart until the warmth revived her. Katura was so startled she frightened the cat away. Then, deeper and deeper into the woods she journeyed until dusk settled all around her.
My dear, I'm sorry we became separated. It is dark now. Let me lead you, for I know the path.
Once more Katura followed, for she knew not what else to do.
I am here before you. Don't be afraid,
said the witch, and then, unseen in the darkness, she flew away. In pitch blackness, Katura tiptoed forward until she heard... Suddenly, she saw where her next step would surely have taken her. Over a cliff to her death.
Come back! Come back, Black Cat! You have saved me!
But the cat was gone. By now, the witch was furious. But then an idea came to her.
Aha! Let her live then, for now I see how she will be more useful to me alive.
A third time, the witch appeared in disguise before Katura.
My poor child, why did you not follow? I looked behind me and you were gone. Come with me to my cottage where I have a delicious supper and a cozy bed awaiting you.
No, I cannot, for tomorrow is Halloween, and my great-grandmother wished me to attend the celebration at the castle.
Of course, my dear child, but tonight you must take shelter.
Katura was afraid of the old woman, but she was more afraid of the cold, dark forest. In the witch's cottage, Katura slept unsuspecting.
Yes, child, you will be more useful to me alive.
The next evening, the old woman pointed the way to the castle.
Mind you return to me, dear.
It was Halloween night. As Katura neared the castle,
Help! Don't eat me, fierce demon!
Oh, don't be frightened, child. I am one of the king's royal guards.
for the first time, Katura saw that the many creatures were only people dressed in elaborate costumes. And now they were entering the castle.
Welcome to the celebration. Tonight, the king and queen will join us with the young prince who's been on a journey.
Then, seeing that Katura had no costume, he gave her a beautiful golden mask to wear. Who is she? Everyone asked. Just then,
Her Highness, the queen, and I have heavy hearts tonight. Our son was to return 3 days past, and we fear for his life. But we have not yet lost hope. Go home, and if our son returns, we will ring the midnight bells and summon you back.
3 days past. Perhaps the forest witch has killed him.
That cannot be, for the witch knows that a spell was cast upon the prince at birth, and anyone who kills the prince shall instantly die.
sadly, the guests returned to their homes. Katura had nowhere to go but to the edge of the forest.
Well, dear, did they talk of the missing prince?
How did you know the prince is missing? For the king has only just announced it.
I know many things. And what is more, I know that the prince is in grave danger. But you, my dear, can save him.
Suddenly, the witch reached into the dark hollow of a tree and unfastened one end of a chain. Bound by the cruel shackle was the black cat.
This evil cat is the cause of the prince's misfortune. Throw it over the cliff, and the prince will be saved.
But how will the prince be saved?
Do you question me? Do as I bid you.
The cold and the darkness did not frighten Katura, as thoughtfully she made her way all alone to the cliff's very edge.
Dear cat, I could never harm you, for you saved me in this very place, and surely your death cannot help the poor prince. I wish I could free you from this horrid shackle, but I do not know how.
Then, almost magically, a glint of moonlight struck her great-grandmother's simple key.
Keep it, and someday it will unlock something of great importance.
Her great-grandmother had said.
Perhaps this key will free you, dear cat.
Stop! Stop! Don't unlock that!
But at that instant, the key turned, the shackle opened, and the cat was a cat no longer, but the young prince.
You have disobeyed me!
Katura, get down! Then the prince snapped the broomstick away. And down to the depths fell the witch, and was never heard from again. Katura, let us return to the castle, and I will tell you the story of how I was transformed by the witch. As they entered the great ballroom, Katura shyly put on her mask. The king and queen wept with joy to see their son home again, and immediately they ordered the midnight bells be rung.
Why, the girl who saved our son is the very one we noticed earlier tonight. Won't you remove your golden mask that we might see your face?
Katura blushed deeply, and instantly they saw that her loveliness outshone even gold. By now, All Saints' Day had arrived, signaling that Halloween was over. With laughter and song then, everyone in the kingdom celebrated the brave journeys which had brought together the prince and Katura.
Sorry about that. I was chewing on a sandwich. Hopefully I don't have any bread in my beard. It's Halloween, so I have to wear my costume. I'm the civil defense clown. Hi, everybody. Be safe. Okay, so, yeah, that was an odd film, and it was not an old folk tale. That was actually a new, relatively new, in the 70s. This next film, I love this film. This is kids being bad, influencing other kids to be bad. Trick or Treat. Enjoy.
Well, we won't run out of jelly beans or cookies tonight.
See, Dad.
Oh, listen, Pete.
Yeah?
Now, I want this clearly understood.
Yeah.
No serious damage this Halloween.
Oh, sure.
Ordinary trick-or-treats, okay.
Yeah, okay.
I want you guys to have fun. But, you know, just keep it fun.
Okay.
No malicious mischief.
All right.
Now, Pete, I want your word on
Okay,
this.
Dad, I promise.
Sandy, I'd like your cooperation, too.
I understand, sir. See, Dad.
Okay. Have fun, you guys.
You know what we'll get? Lots of jelly beans. That's about it. I hate jelly beans. Me too.
Then, trick or treat! Don't shoot. I think I got just what you want. Jelly beans.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Aren't you so nice? How could we refuse? Thomas, candy.
Just like I said, jelly beans.
Maybe things will pick up.
Come.
Think we should go follow? Yeah. Okay.
It was real fun.
Trick or treat! Wait a minute, I've got something.
Look at those pants. Aren't they adorable?
Girls. It's some fudge. I just made it myself.
Where'd they go? They just walked away.
Without a word?
I don't know. One of them said something about jelly beans being better.
But I don't know how to make jelly beans.
You know those kids behind us?
Nope, do you?
No, but that red cape looks pretty fancy to me.
Might be that new rich kid, Ronnie Heights.
Ah! Quit following us! Go on, go home! Go on, go! Trick or treat!
Good grief, you frighten me. Well, not really. Come here. Hmm? Reminds me of the days when I went trick-and-treating myself. Well, all I have are cookies. But they're very special cookies. Mama here baked them. Come on, help yourself. No, wait. Oh! Well, come, leave some for the other children. All right, Dad. Go. Take as many as you like.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I hope you get many other candies, and see you next year, huh? Bye.
First good thing tonight. Right. Who's back there? Yeah, come on, let's hurry up. Trick or treat!
Trick or treat? What kind of a chump do you take me for? Now, you kids get out of here and let me alone, will you? Let me get my rest.
What's the matter? It's trick or treat, so you're supposed to give us some free candy, maybe even money.
Oh, I'm supposed to give you candy or money, huh? Well, I'll give you a punch in the mouth, that's what I'll give you. Now, you delinquents, get out of here.
What do we do?
You wake me up in the morning, I work all...
Morning. It's 8 at night.
Of course, it's 8 o'clock, I work all night. Now, get out of here. Let me alone.
Oh, my God! Oh, you careful!
Man, what a rotten guy. Crab. He didn't treat, so he gets a trick. What can we do? He can soap his windows? Ah, kid stuff. Well, let's look around. We gotta think of something good. Look. What's going on, man? Can't see a thing. What are you doing? Sam, baby, let me know what's going on. What is this? Oh, what are you doing? You promised my dad no rough stuff. You promised, I didn't. You said you understood. Sure, I understand. That's why I didn't promise. Oh, come on. All right. I won't do a thing. Hey, kid! The big one. Come here. I don't suppose you can tie a good knot. I can tie a square knot. All right, let's see you tie the end of this rope to the bumper of that car. What do you give me if I do? A handful of jelly beans. Now, come on, hurry up. I don't like jelly beans. I like some cookies, good ones, I promise. Now, hurry up. Give me a cookie first. Here. Why? What for? To pull a trick. For crying out loud, hurry up. What's the matter, you chicken or something? I ain't chicken. That car told the trail take all night. Hurry up, dumbhead! Nah, that's just a one-arm rope. Give the old jerk a jerk. That's funny. You'll think it's an earthquake or something. Honey, watch out!
And I understand the police are investigating. You know, it's just awful when those kids tear up property at Halloween. Last year, remember the property damage? They tore up fences and plants and yards and everything. It's just a mess. Well, they're looking into it all now. You know what they said? They say it's the Heights kid. Oh, no. Yeah, just imagine 8 years old, and that trailer was really banged up. It must have cost the old man a couple of $100, not to mention the medical expenses.
old clunkers. How can they let them get in this condition before they start driving out?
It's amazing. I said it's just an awful thing to do. And I said to Harold,
Lady, I don't know if I can fix this stove, and I don't know if I have the parts. Oh, I don't know why they expect us to carry it. I'll look in the truck and see if I've got the parts.
I'm sure glad Pete stayed out of trouble. His father really laid down the law to him.
Yeah?
We got enough to worry about around here. Did I tell you about the sink?
No.
Hi, honey. I'll see you later.
Yeah, talk to you.
Some sleep you had.
Ma, what did Ronnie Heights do? Crazy kid.
Tied a man's house trailer to a car. The car yanked the trailer off his blocks. And when the weight of the trailer came down those blocks, they ripped right up to the floor. The old man was inside, pouring himself some hot tea. And he got knocked down, of course, with boiling water all over his arms. Now, that's where Ronnie is in real trouble. There's some of that honey you hate so much. I'm sure glad you took it easy. Listen to your father. We've got enough expenses right now without something like that.
I'm happy. Sandy, you know, Ronnie, the police got Ronnie and... Yeah, I know. I heard about that. But maybe he'd tell on us. He won't know who we are, really. He might recognize us. No. But he might even know the costume. Are you kidding? Millions of kids wear those kind of costumes. But not the exact same costume. And Ronnie isn't that smart. Besides that, it was too dark. Well, anyhow, what's about Ronnie? All the trouble he's getting, he shouldn't be getting all the blame. Look, it's partly our fault. He didn't have to do it, right? Besides that, it was a square deal. Look, we asked him if he'd do it. And he said, what will you give me, right? Well, we said, where to make the deal in the first place. So we gave him jelly beans. He said he didn't want jelly beans. So we gave him a cookie. So what? We let him eat it. We didn't argue. Then he turns around. He comes back, says, what for? So we have to tell him. So he knew what it was for. He got what he wanted. That's no excuse. Now, he didn't even know what he was doing. Oh, sure. We told him it was playing a trick. So, what do you think? He's only 8 years old. How much is he supposed to know? He's not smart enough to figure out what's going to happen. He deserves to get this mess. So what, man? It's still not right. Can't just let his father pay all those expenses. They can afford it, so don't worry about it. So what they can afford it? It's not going to hurt them any bit. It's going to hurt us, I tell you. Well, guys, it's still not right. I don't care how much money we have. Maybe it isn't right, but can you afford it? You've got that thing, even if we can, you still have to. So you promised your dad. Remember, we're not going to do anything? So, I didn't do anything, though. But you were involved. You were just as involved as I was, and I wasn't that much involved, but according to you, I had something to do with it, and you were just as involved as I was. I was not just as involved. It was your idea. You're the one that took it. So, he recognizes us. You get into just as much trouble as I do. So, I don't care. Pete, don't be ridiculous. Look, we're safe. We're clear. No one knows who we did it, right? No one knows you. You and I are perfectly safe. The only one that's in a mess is Ronnie, and that's final. What? Leave Ronnie alone. Why are you worrying about it? My gosh, we're safe.
I love me an open-ended drama where you have to make the decisions. Ideally, what we would do is we would show this, and then the teacher would ask the class, so what would you do? How do you feel about this situation? It's you wouldn't see these types of films certainly in the 80s. There's only a couple that I've seen that are open-ended like that. And certainly in the 40s and 50s, it was rare that you would see these ones that are open-ended. But man, I love it. Absolutely love it. This and what's the other? The Bike, Lost Puppy. All these ones that come out in the late 60s, early 70s that are these moral dilemmas featuring kids. So great. So this is, it's Halloween. Let's be safe.
Halloween is really a special time, isn't it? Especially for me. You can see why if you know who I am. Look up a little. That's me, a jack-o'-lantern. At Halloween time every year, I sit up here and watch everybody go by. It's a nice and scary time, isn't it? All those wonderful costumes and masks and makeup. I think about how much fun Halloween is. I also worry a little bit about the things that can spoil the fun of Halloween. Those kinds of things scare me too, but in a different way. For instance, look next door. That's where Corey lives.
Corey, have you got that pumpkin ready yet?
Yes, Dad.
Corey's going to carve a pumpkin with her dad.
Weighs 50 pounds.
That's a big one. It probably weighs close to that.
Probably.
Come on here and set it down.
Okay.
Let me get the paper straightened out.
How's that?
That's fine. Have you decided what kind of face you're going to make on it yet?
A happy face.
Oh, good.
Now, a pumpkin's not easy to carve. I know that. You need the proper tools. But first you have to draw a face that you can carve.
So you've got to be careful.
Corey's doing that.
That's a nice pumpkin face.
Thank you.
Well, let's see if we can cut the top off now.
Then you cut the top off so you can scoop out the insides. It takes a sharp knife. And you know sharp knives can be dangerous if they're not used right. I'm glad that Corey's father is helping her. It's much safer that way.
Eager to get inside?
Yeah.
Go ahead and pull that off.
Ew, look.
You ever seen the inside of a pumpkin before?
Yeah. Not that way.
Okay, now comes the fun part. Gotta start cleaning it out.
Getting my inside scooped out tickles me. It'd tickle you too, if you were a pumpkin. So far it's been fun. But look at Corey's hand. Kinda gooey, isn't it? Corey is going to carve the face with a small knife. Can you imagine how that knife could slip and maybe cut her? I hope Corey will do the safe thing. Good, that's a lot better. A clean, dry hand can hold a knife safely, and cut with it safely too. Cut slowly, carefully, in small slices, and always cut away from yourself.
Thank you.
Make sure there's an adult, or someone a lot older than you, who can help you if you need help. That's the safe way to carve a pumpkin. I'm glad Corey isn't going to spoil her Halloween fun. Carve carefully. That's one way to have a Halloween that's fun and safe. But what about having a candle burning inside your pumpkin? Well, I'm sitting on brick, but a candle and a pumpkin on a wooden porch might not be safe at all. A flashlight could be a lot safer then. But it's best to stay away from lighted candles that are inside or outside of jack-o'-lanterns. You know why. Well, not everybody carves a pumpkin on Halloween, but just about everybody does dress up in a costume. For instance, look across the street there. Do you see what I see? That robot is Jeremy in his costume.
Oh, Jessica, it's you. How do you like my costume? You look great.
Well, it may look great from the outside, but from the inside, things don't look very good at all. Jeremy can't see very well with his robot head on, and I don't think the rest of his costume lets him walk very well. He can't bend his knees.
How are you going to walk in that? I don't know.
It's hard for Jeremy to keep his balance. If Jeremy went out like that, he might keep losing his balance all the time. He might fall down just anywhere, and probably everywhere. Sidewalks hurt you when you fall on them, and so do streets. And streets are especially dangerous to fall down on. Jeremy has to be able to walk better if he doesn't want to spoil his Halloween fun. There, that's better. A costume shouldn't make you trip or fall. That's not safe. It should be easy for you to move in your costume. And you have to be able to see where you're going.
Look, Jessica.
A mask that makes it hard to see could get you into all kinds of trouble. There, that's much better. Jeremy can see well now and move safely in his costume too.
Now I'm going to try my...
Oh, but look at Jessica. She can't see much with her mask on.
It's too big for me.
A monster needs an ugly face. But does it have to be a mask? Makeup can be just as good, and it's always just the right size for you. Just don't get it in your eyes.
Okay, I'll get another one.
If you're not too good at putting on makeup, get an adult to help you. Make sure your mask and costume let you see well and walk well, and they won't spoil your fun on Halloween.
Okay, great. Here, let me try.
Of course, the reason you get all dressed up at Halloween is so you can have fun going trick-or-treating.
Grrr.
And I like to see all the children out in their costumes. But when I see them, I always hope they don't forget all they know about crossing streets safely. And I hope you don't either. That's especially important when drivers can't see you well. And for you to see the cars well, it's a good idea to take off your mask when you cross. Even though it may not be night yet, it's dark enough to make things outdoors hard to see, you and the cars. It makes me so happy when I see children look to their left for cars, then right for cars, then left again before they cross. You mustn't forget all the safety rules you know on Halloween, and especially because it's dark. It's safest not to cross between parked cars. That can be very dangerous. And don't cut across yards or empty lots. When it's dark, you can't see what's there. Remembering safety rules is very important on Halloween. There's something else that can help keep you safe outside when it's dark. You'll see right away. Yes, just as I thought. They're coming up my walk now. The people who live in my house like to take pictures of the children who come by.
Okay, we're going to take a picture for a treat, too. Everybody smile.
Now you'll see what there is about their costumes that makes it easier for drivers to see them when it's dark. Do you see how easy it is to see the bright colors in the costumes? Bright colors are easier to see at night than dark colors are. But there's something else. Some parts seem to glow from the camera flash. That's how those parts will look when car headlights shine on them. Those are just pieces of special tape that reflect light very well. You can put tape like that on your costume and on your trick-or-treat bag. Some costumes already have reflecting material on them. Making your costume and your bag easy to see makes you easy to see. And that's a good way to help make Halloween safe. The safer Halloween is, the more fun it is, for you and for me. That's what I think. But some people have a strange idea of fun. They think it's fun to mess up other people's things with paint. They don't think about how the people feel whose things are ruined. And some people think it's fun to throw things at cars and houses and buildings. But the people whose things they're messing up don't. I don't either. It isn't fun to spoil other people's things and make them unhappy. Some people even think it's fun to smash pumpkins. Oh no, that's not fun. Not for all the people who work so hard carving pumpkins, and especially not for us pumpkins. Whew, wow, that was close. Some people don't know what fun really is. I do, and I'll bet you do too. And I know they do. Trick-or-treating is always fun, but there are some things you should remember to help keep it fun. One thing is to always go out with friends, and have an adult come along too. Don't ever trick-or-treat alone. And if someone you don't know very well invites you in.
Look, tonight. Would you like to come in? I have more treats inside.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
That's right. Say, no thanks. And don't eat the treats while you're collecting them. Stay in your own neighborhood. Don't get too far from home. Don't worry, you'll collect enough treats. People are expecting you. And even if you don't stop at houses with no outside lights on, which you shouldn't, you'll have a wonderful time at Halloween. Some of you will probably still be out when it's really dark. That's when flashlights are an especially good idea, to help you watch out for places you might fall or stumble over if you didn't see them. But remember, don't shine those flashlights into anybody's eyes, especially a driver's eyes. That could be dangerous. It isn't hard to have a safe Halloween. Just look how easy it is to see those children when they cross. They wouldn't want an accident to spoil their Halloween fun. I wouldn't want that to happen either. Trick-or-treating is almost over this Halloween for Corey and Jessica and Jeremy. It's almost time for them to head for home. But what do you do with all the treats you've collected? A lot of them are things to eat, of course. But you don't eat them all, at least not right away, that's for sure. And there might be some you won't want to eat at all.
Kind of gooey. It was
Get a grown-up to help you decide, or at least someone a lot older than you.
Let's get rid of that.
You see, some people think it's fun to play tricks with your treats. Watch out for candy wrappers that have been torn or punctured. That might be a sign of tampering. There might be things in the candy, so break open candy bars before you eat them. Cut fruit into pieces before you eat it, just in case something's been stuck in it. Watch out for things that look like candy, but might be medicines or drugs, or even poisons. Don't eat anything that doesn't look right. If it looks funny, it might not be so funny if you ate it. Treats are so much fun to collect. It'd be awful to have them spoil your Halloween fun by making you sick. Corey's treats won't make her sick, and I hope yours won't make you sick either. I hope you can have the most fun you've ever had this Halloween. Halloween can be a scary time, not because of witches or ghosts that we know aren't real, but because of real things that can spoil our fun. Just remember these few important things I've told you about. Carve your pumpkin carefully. Make sure that you can see. And make sure people can see you. Remember all your safety rules, and take off your mask when you cross a street.
Trick-or-treat!
Trick-or-treat in your own neighborhood, and don't keep any treats that don't look right. If you can do all that, then you won't have to worry about scary, real things happening on Halloween, right? Right.
have a fun and a safe Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a lame voice for the pumpkin. Really. I mean, he could have affected just a little bit of something to be a little bit more Halloween-y, I guess, in my mind. But, oh yeah, it's the same old tropes here. I have a Halloween Safety, the first edition, that came out in the 70s, and it's very similar. And I should say that I've been invited tonight to be on Found Footage Festival's Mask Me Another competition, which is a annual event that George from Found Footage Festival quizzes people on different types of masks and costumes made by Ben Cooper and Collegeville masks, costume companies. Something that I used to wear as a kid. I remember wearing an underdog costume with a mask, plastic mask. So anyways, I was on, I think, the first iteration of it, and won like a crazy impossible one. And so now they've brought me back to help as a potential lifeline for the Joe and Nick and Steve from Found Footage Festival. So I think that's at 9 o'clock tonight, Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, maybe I'll see you there. Thanks for tuning in today. And it was also great to see some new faces from other countries. That was really great. So we start at, right now it's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we start at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, and we do this on the weekdays. We don't always wear costumes, and we don't always show films about Halloween. We show 16mm films from our collection and other collections that we've worked with. So thank you for joining us. If you like what you saw, subscribe, because we're posting new stuff all the time. Literally 10 to 30 new films a day from our collection and from other collections that we've been working with. You can also support us by going to ko-fi.com/avgeeks or patreon.com/avgeeks, or using the super thanks button. That's a great treat for us. For you in the States, please vote. If you can early vote, go ahead and do it. Knock it out. I am very anxious, and I want everybody to vote. So please do that. I'm not going to say who to vote for, but if you follow me, you'll know who I recommend. Anyways, everybody have a great rest of your Halloween, or beginning of your Halloween, depending on where you are on the planet. And we'll be back again tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and we will see you soon. Be safe. Civil defense. Bye.